Greetings, travelers. David Lemaster here. I'm a practitioner with Creative Life Spiritual Center down in Spring, Texas, under Jesse Jennings, Reverend Jesse Jennings. And I have had this inspiration to start a series on traveling in the sense of being a traveler of consciousness. And because, anyway, we'll get into that, but that's what we basically are. A little background is I am a biologist and I was a teacher. I taught high school science, all different kinds of different sciences. I've also was a wildlife biologist and worked with the Forest Service in Alaska, Alaska Department of Fish and Game, and also did some summer works with the National Park Service. Spent a lot of time outdoors. That's tend to where I gravitate toward nature, to the outdoors, and avid bird watcher, hiker, uh, that type of thing. Give you a little idea. Right now, I'm living in Idaho after retiring from teaching in Alaska, and just wanting to dive deeper. And I've been diving deeper into the philosophy of New Thought through the through science of mind, the uh, affiliated type of New Thought philosophy. But so anyway, we'll get all into that. But being a what it just occurred to me actually this morning when I was thinking about this, meditating on this, is that what we really are travelers. And I've always felt that way. I've always felt that I'm a traveler. I'm I'm moving through my life. I'm moving through ideas. I'm moving through ways of expressing and believing and thinking about myself and about all this around me. And I just love this background of the world. I think it's the Whirlpool Galaxy. I'm not, I don't know, there's so many of them because this is where we are. This is in physical form. We are like on a little tiny one that's little specks on the Milky Way galaxy, of course, and not the same galaxy. We're travelers. We're travelers in space. We're travelers in time. But this series, which is going to be travelers, new thought travelers in consciousness. And so I need to kind of explain what I mean by by consciousness, because it's kind of a nebulous term if you think about it. Well, if you think about consciousness is like a musical scale, and we all have sort of a baseline level of consciousness, and it changes through, for at least for me, it changes throughout the day. I can have a much higher level of consciousness in the morning. That seems to be my time, and then by shortly after lunch, I'm just above maybe a turnip or granite. It's just like it's down here, and then eventually, so it's not like kind of like a wave. It moves up and down. But we have a baseline level of consciousness, and what I see the mission for being here at this particular time as a human is to elevate, is to raise, to become more aware, to become more conscious of ourselves, what's going on within us, and our connection with this 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 cosmic, amazing universe that we're part of, and how all this works and how we can work within it. And the new thought philosophy that is American. It started back way back in the early days of this country, and with the Pinus Quimby. We might talk about that at some point, and then Emerson and Thoreau through the Transcendentalist. Anyway, but it was a completely new way of looking at basically raising your consciousness and to seeing ourselves in a different light than old world I call old world religion, or old world religious perspective. And I have found, and I'm not the only one, that you can raise your baseline level of consciousness. In other words, you can travel in consciousness. You can travel to higher levels of consciousness on this musical scale, or you can look on it as vibration in a vibratory scale. But to do that, to change your level of consciousness, give you an example. Say a woe is me consciousness. And if you ever met anybody like that, it's always something what Debbie Downer type of thing. It starts out whenever the conversation starts, it's always, this awful, awful, terrible, terrible, woe is me, you know, goes on with the news or whatever. I mean, that's a certain level, baseline level of consciousness. And then you may have also known people that are up here someplace and they're just, their toes are barely touching the planet as they're off, excited about whatever it is they're doing. And so positive and energetic, completely different levels. But it takes energy. That's what I've discovered, that it takes energy, and it takes intent. It takes a focused intent to move your level of consciousness. Just as it takes energy to move from be a traveler, say from California to travel to Maine, like a friend of mine has just recently done. That takes energy to do that. And so, and what was that song? Jimmy Buffett, changes in latitude, changes in attitude. Anyway, random thoughts coming through, but is this idea that as you change your level of location, or you change your level of consciousness, it's going to take energy, it's going to take intent. And I believe strongly that that's the purpose. That's the main purpose of this sojourn, this experience. I'm an ardent reincarnationalist. I have bought into and believe, and also have evidence, my own personal evidence, in that this is not the only time around, and that we have been maybe doing this who knows how long, but is that we are travelers. As simple as that, we're travelers. And for me personally, is once I got with the program and realized that it was all about traveling in consciousness, that was key. And once you learn about traveling in consciousness and raising your consciousness, everything else kind of changes, and uh, life begins to unfold in a completely amazing ways. And that's really the promise of New Thought, is you change your thinking, change your life. And this is one of the baseline teachings of Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, of which I'm a practitioner with down in, like I said, in Spring, Texas. So this journey of consciousness, our journey of awareness, if you want to call it that way, a journey of understanding, increasing your understandings of kind of what about yourself and how it all works, how it all fits together, and your purpose in this. And what I see New Thought being that philosophy that originated, in New England with, I guess, Pinus Quimby and Mary Eddy Baker and Emma Curtis Hopkins. Anyway, is a scaffolding. New Thought principles provide a scaffolding. What came to mind this morning, and as I was meditating, and this all came through, was this idea of monkey bars. Remember when you're a kid in elementary, and at least when I was a kid, they're probably illegal to have monkey bars now. But of these monkey bars, and you climbing up the monkey bars, and so that's what I saw. That came to me in an image, is that that's what New Thought. It provides a scaffolding to climb. to climb a little higher, to get a little better perspective, to get a little better view of the lay of the land, of kind of where you want to go from, and when you get a little higher perspective. So, and I'm going to end this for this particular. This is, the first in the series. Is another image that came to me is the difference between between New Thought and the old world religious models. And many of us who come to a New Thought come from these other models. I come from a Catholic upbringing, and which I basically fell out of, and then eventually discovered the science of mind and New Thought philosophy. But many of us who have come from these other traditions come hungry. Basically, that's what comes to me. I'm a bird person. I love birds. That's what my background is. My studies have been. My master's is in on trumpeter swans. Anyway, as a bird person, what I see is imagine a hummingbird feeder that has Splenda or stevia. In other words, an artificial sweetener. Tastes good, but if you're a hummingbird, you're just not getting much energy out of that. It's not satisfying, and it's not allowing you to fly as fast and as high as you want to go. In fact, it's going to kill you, basically, if you're a hummingbird eating, drinking stevia. And don't do that, all right? Versus over here in the New Thought meadow or the New Thought garden are these amazing flowers that have been planted from seeds. These seeds have been planted before our time by individuals like Ernest Holmes and Emma Curtis Hopkins and Thomas Troward and Emerson, many others, and are being planted still by these amazing travelers who have discovered these ideas, the scaffolding of New Thought. And so there's this garden over here with these beautiful flowers full of nectar. And just imagine this hummingbird. That's what I think some of my cohorts and myself, coming from being somewhat starved and hungry from trying to get nourishment out of old world religious models that they just didn't have the nutrition. And then stumbling onto this one way or the other, being guided to find this garden of flowers that have been planted by brave and brilliant souls, and feeling that invigoration of this nectar, the nutrition and energy. All right, so kind of in summary, this is going to be a series just talking about New Thought and travelers, being travelers in this New Thought, and what that means, and some of the signposts along the way, maybe different experiences that may come about through this traveling. Well, yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention was think about traveling in consciousness. Consider this. And I know people that do this. They travel all over the planet. They travel all over the place, in body, in form. Yet when they come home, it doesn't seem like their consciousness has changed at all. They're the same. So they've traveled in body and in space, but not in consciousness. Yet there are other individuals right now that are in hospital beds, that are in hospice, that are getting ready to transition, who aren't traveling anywhere in form. Yet they have gone incredible, epic journeys in consciousness in this process. All right. Thank you. Look forward to more episodes of Travelers in Consciousness. Keep moving.